But right now, I do want to show a video about the Adani Group because I think it's a scam. Gautam Adani. The thing this guy's running is like one of the richest people in India, and something basically like you remember those files that came out, like the Panama Papers, and there's like another one. There's something called I think they're called the Hindenburg Group. It's like a German group, and they did an expose on India, which is a little bit like, aren't you the colonizers? Back it up. That's India's kind of response to this, to be honest. They put out a thing saying like, yo, this guy Gautam Adani is just running a massive scam on really the Indian public. And the Indian public is like, hey, aren't you the colonizer? Just cool it. That's kind of the attitude that I'm seeing. Tell me what you guys have seen about this in the comments.
Which had many people in North America asking who, but for anyone in Asia, or more specifically India, the name probably rings a bell. Gautam Adani is, after all, Asia's richest man, and in fact, last year briefly surpassed Jeff Bezos as the second richest person in the world. And he's built this wealth on the back of Adani Group, which is an empire of companies covering industries ranging from ports and gas to green energy and even food oil.
Yes.
So needless to say, it was pretty shocking when a short seller report came out about this massive firm, and it's since caused the Adani companies that are publicly listed to fall in price.
Very Bad Boy Billionaires. I don't know if you guys saw the Bad Boy Billionaires one, but it's basically like 3 Indian rich kids running a scam on India. And basically the mechanism of it is like, once you get too big to fail in India, you start getting government funding. And then once you start getting the government funding, you can kind of like boss them around and just be like, listen, we're spending it on this. We're not going to show you everything. We know what we're doing. But then you look into the papers and it's like you're doing.
The value of the company is dropping anywhere from 14 to nearly 50% over the span of roughly a week. Now, the report is available online. I have gone through it myself so that you don't have to, but what exactly is Adani Group accused of? Quite a bit, and I'll do my best to summarize exactly what's going on, but there are quite a lot of details. At a very, very high level, however, the report is basically a list of receipts that shows suspicious transactions, undisclosed relationships, and it's stuff that ultimately amounts to allegations of stock price manipulation and earnings manipulation. You see, Adani Group has 7 publicly traded companies, and these stocks have appreciated by 819% over the past 3 years alone, which has made Gautam a lot of money. And Hindenburg argues that the fundamentals for these companies don't support these stock valuations. Many of these firms don't generate consistent positive cash flows. There are concerns around leverage and the fact that the company has used its own stock as collateral for some of its loans. And Hindenburg believes that the sky-high valuations are the result of fraud, with the report then going into 7 different parts to explain this belief. The first bit talks about how there are offshore funds and shell companies with ties to Adani Group that own a significant amount of the company's shares, where that relationship is not disclosed publicly. With some of the funds...
Yeah, basically like, that's kind of the response I'm getting though from India. I've seen a bunch of news articles about it. Tell me what you guys think, like, or what, if you've even heard anything about it. Because just like Bad Boy Billionaires, basically the way these guys work, the way these big Indian scams work is that like, and I've heard people from India say this too about Canada, where they're like, okay, Canada, there's no corruption. But what's the point of doing corruption in Canada? There's only 30 million of you. So really, what's the corruption going to be? The whole point of corruption is that when you got a population like the whole point of a lot of these kind of corrupt things is like, you're just taking a little 0.0 penny off of each citizen. So these people that are in top positions, they just start skimming here and there. Bunch of sinners at the top, politicians, big business people. They find clever ways to just do a skim. And it's really like you're stealing 0.1 cents from each citizen. But in Canada, there's only 30 million people. So it's like, is there really any point? Whereas whereas once you get to 300 million, like USA, once you get to even 50 million, 100 million, or maybe, 100 million plus, I'd say, what happens is that the money you'll make in corruption is so much more than the money you need to just pay off the guy who's checking for the corruption. So sooner or later, someone's going to do it. It's one of those, I'm not saying it's okay, but it's just one of those things. So yeah, he's pulled it off, but I feel like the real grift here though, is that, people in India, because he's associated with Modi, the Modi government, a lot of people in India are kind of like, fuck you, but aren't you the colonizer? And you're going to tell me that we're not allowed to do a little, you guys are doing corruption. Hold on a second. Let me switch the thing. The Adanigrift. I think there's a little bit of a Hindu grift happening. There's a little bit of like the people at Hindenburg are trying to warn India like, hey, you guys are getting scammed. And people in India are saying, don't ever talk about our country like this. Have respect and don't ever say anything negative about our country. You have respect. It kind of reminds me of like, I remember like 10, 15 years ago. And it's sad because it's like, we're all on the same team here. India, like if I could just say this to India, like you don't have to take it so personally that someone outside caught caught you on something. You should be like, thank you. This guy's scamming us. Now we got him. But I remember years ago, I even saw that it's so India. It's like such an Indian uncle attitude to be like, no, you cannot. You don't have a respect. You don't have a respect. Why you tell everyone? I remember I was watching this like probably 10 years ago when those big like rape cases happened in India. There was like a Bollywood star and she's at Cannes Film Festival and someone brought it up in Cannes and she was just like, she just made like a little, a 30-second Hollywood celeb, just a minor little, like, as a Hollywood celebrity, you kind of have to do these just standard liberal, like, I'm against rape. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's really like a lob. It's like a softball pitch and they're just lobbing you. Like it's all part, look, you have to almost. It's like lobbing you, like your karma is to hit that ball and someone's lobbing you a nice, easy one, nothing complicated. No one's asking you if you support the war in Ukraine. Nobody's saying like, hey, what do you think about Palestine? They're saying like, there's these rape cases in India. What do you think? She gives a standard. What do you say? She gives a standard, it's terrible. I'm really sad about this. It shows that there's a real cultural issue going on right now in India, and it's something that we got to work on. And it's something that we got to face. And like, it's just a positive, like, no brainer. What do you think of rape? And just the answer you give. So then she goes back to India, and these Indian reporters, they go, you are in Cannes Film Festival and they ask you about this rape case and why you tell the whole world that India's problems? Huh? Do you hate India? Why are you telling whole world about India's problem? Because you hate India. Say you hate India then. You don't love India, you hate India. Like the guy's just yelling at her because I don't know what she was supposed to say. Like the guy asked her a question. What's she gonna say? I guess she could go with a no comment, but I mean, take 10 seconds and say rape is bad. How about that? How about we don't be maniacs and you just take 30 seconds and say, hey, I think rape is bad. That's all she said. Let me read some comments here. Richard Matthews says, the Hindus run India and the scams. It's a big cultural grift, honestly. Because this Adani guy is tied up with the Modi government, it's like there's no real criticism. And I've looked for stuff. I've seen a lot of defense videos of like, just leave him alone, okay? Corruption, schmeruption. You're gonna cook the books a little. Hey, if you were as smart as him, you'd cook the books a little too, idiot. He knows what he's doing. So it's so Indian, dude. They love that. They love like I always felt like when I was even there, like because I lived there for 2 years and I grew up there kind of like back and forth from Canada to India. But I remember even when I was growing up, like there's almost this respect for authority. And now there's this respect for the Modi government. I'm seeing this kind of respect for the Adani group. But even when I was growing up, like even the British government, if someone said anything negative, people would say, no, the British are very good. They teach us management. And the guy that tells me that, I know a guy in Canada, this guy moved here from India when he was like 20, runs 2 Canadian water treatment plants. I think I've told you guys about this. He runs 2 water treatment plants in Canada. And he's so good at it, the Canadian government is like, come on, take another one. We'll give you the teams, we'll give you the money, just take it. Like, you know how to manage it, you know what you're doing. The guy's so good. I said something about the British Empire and he goes, so without a British, we don't have a management. I mean, we have no management skill. Only because of British we have it. That's what he says, right? But here's the twist ending. His water treatment plants will never hire a white guy. Like he only hires other Indian people. Because like in one sentence, he tells me that like without a British, he's nothing. But then like 2 minutes later, someone was talking about hiring a friend and it was a white guy. And the guy goes, no, that's going to be trouble. So white people don't want to work. They're troublemaking. White, black. He only hires brown people. He basically just he just hires brown people and brown people that he can yell at basically. And like brown people that I'm not saying he hits them, but he can yell at them. He can call at 3:30 and they'll say, Sanjay, you do it? And the guy will be like, okay, I go. Yes, brother, I go. Yes, I go right now. No way, right? Whereas he's like, if I call a white guy at 3:30 in the morning or a black guy at 3:30 in the morning, they're going to be like, fuck you. My kid has a game at 7. You know what I mean? He knows the Indian guy's going to say, yes, brother, I will do it right away. You give me freedom, brother, and I love it. And the moral of the story is, you are loved because you are loved. Such is the nature of love and kindness. Okay? So now that I've done my karmas, make sure you do your karmas, hit the like, hit the subscribe, and sign up for meditation. Ascension is upon us, foolish! Sign up for meditation immediately! Ha! Am I still here?